We recently announced that Beaver Stadium is set to undergo some renovations within the next few years, but still not clear on what those renovations will look like.
Historically, it's been a theme for Penn State to make changes to where it plays football. Riley Holsinger shows us different changes to its fields all the way back to the 1800s.
A Saturday at Beaver Stadium is like mass to thousands of Penn State fans, but these weren't always the pews or the cathedral that they would sit in to watch Penn State football. The Nittany Lions have played in 4 different venues over the years. Their first was the lawn of Old Main,
which is kind of a silly place to play any kind of a sporting event since it's sloped at a very awkward angle.
As the team grew, it became apparent it needed a better home, and then Governor James Beaver called on the state government for a few $1,000s to build Old Beaver Field.
Had it not been for that, we would not have been able to do that, have not been able to create our first athletic field.
The Nittany Lions played there for 15 years until constructing New Beaver Field in 1909 to try and attract more teams to play in Happy Valley.
So the larger the stadium, the bigger the complex, the more likely it was that visiting teams were going to be able to come and play here. And that kind of precipitated the need to, well, we're going to have to expand this place.
New Beaver Field was the team's home for 50 years until it was time to move one more time to here. They even brought some old keepsakes to its new home.
They took the steel bleachers, right, and the steel structure that formed New Beaver Field, disassembled it into 700 separate pieces, put it on trucks and carted it the 1.5 miles across campus to the spot where Beaver Stadium now stands and reconstructed it there.
The construction on Beaver Stadium was finalized in 1960, but not everyone was happy about moving the stadium away from campus, especially then assistant coach Joe Paterno.
Joe was livid about the idea, and Joe actually declared that no one would ever come to a Penn State football game ever again.
Little did he know that the cathedral Penn State built would continually expand to eventually pack some of the biggest crowds of all time for college football.
He turned out to be wrong. People still have a pretty decent time coming out to games over here. He did admit that, actually, some years later. They asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, it turns out everything worked out just fine.
Beaver Stadium has changed a lot over the past 60 years, and if history tells us anything, it'll probably tell us that there are still plenty of changes still to come. Reporting in University Park, I'm Riley Holsinger.